the talk of the whole middle school group was these two folks who would have sex and they didn't have condoms and they would use sandwich baggies. I was like, guys, I'm only in middle school, but that doesn't sound safe to me.
Yeah, I actually use a Pringles can.
Please.
It's a very rigid condom.
Yeah. There's like probably a lot of room in there for you, huh? It does not fit tightly.
I pack it with the fillers that come in a shoe.
Oh,
like the paper fillers.
That makes sense. Yeah. That should be the opener.
Fuck you. Who are you? What are you?
If I edited this podcast, that would be the opener. And because you do, we know it's not going to be.
Okay, this is the first episode ever you can edit. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God, no. There won't be any. You might as well. We'll just go live. It's fine. They're like, where's the music?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, relationships, and whatever else we feel like talking about. I'm TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, BFF, and the sausage to my pepperoni, Jenna.
Hello. How are you?
What's up, you cute little sausage?
Oh, sausage. I feel like that's not a flattering thing to call me, but I'll take it.
You could either be sausage or pepperoni. And pepperoni is my favorite pizza topping.
All right, fine. You can be pepperoni. Sometimes, if I'm being honest, the reason my engagement ring was as big as it was because I told my ex that I have sausage fingers, and in order for it to look nice on my finger, it has to be large. So technically, you're not wrong. I have little short, stubby, chubby little fingers. So I was like, the diamond's got to be significant in like comparison. You know, it's only right.
That's funny that you mentioned that because the last time I bought a diamond, it was for a relatively dainty finger. But by her methodology, because she'd waited so long in life.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, she was like, I'm over 30. If you're buying me a ring, you're going to spend at least 20 grand and at least 2.5 carats. And I was just,
oh, I didn't say that.
I know, but you're just like,
but yeah,
we got to bling out these sausage fingers.
I did. I was like, man, I'm just saying. And then then of course I was like, make it sure it sits up really high. I gave all the directions. Us women, we know how to dress our bodies down to our jewelry. And it's a very specific thing. Whereas I feel like men just like throw on a fucking t-shirt and jeans and you're like, cool.
I have the exact opposite talent from what you have.
You know how to undress?
Exactly.
You're weird.
Do you love how the opener last week I finished like the joke was you calling me a dummy? You were like, you dummy.
Anyway, what's going on? What's new? What's shaking?
Wait, before we jump in, I have something I want to do. So normally this is where I would shake people down to buy our merch. This week, right. I'm not doing that. There's going to be some new listeners added to the fray over the last couple weeks. And for anyone who is new to the podcast or anyone who's been listening for a while and maybe just hasn't done this yet,
shame on you.
Shame on you. My livelihood and all the livelihood of my illegitimate children depend on you.
Yeah, and his ego.
And my ego and all the dates I go on, I got to pay for that somehow.
Seriously.
And the more you subscribe and review to the podcast, give us reviews, 5 stars only, and write something about how much you love us. Do that. Send it to us. We'll give you guys a shout out on the podcast. And no matter what we've asked you to do, this is the one this week. So make sure you are writing us a review.
Yes, please. And thank you.
See how easy that was?
Very mannerly of me.
It was.
Yeah, I know.
It's because your middle name's Faith.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because you have faith in these people to write us a motherfucking review.
I do. I have faith in humanity and their kindness.
Well, that's misguided.
I know.
Tough luck.
Tell me about it.
Do you ever think your mom was like, we'll make her middle name Faith?
No.
Why did I laugh like that?
I don't know.
Was it creepy a little bit?
But I do know why my middle name is Faith.
You've told this on air before.
I have?
But I just don't listen to you. You can give it another go.
Did I tell it on air or did I just tell you?
Twice. You did.
Oh, then I'm not going to say it again. Sorry, new listeners. You don't get to know.
Go back to the Bella Gandhi episode because it's in that.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
God, your memory is insane.
I know. And that was only like 45 episodes ago.
I know. I don't know how you store all that information in that tiny little head of yours.
My head is fucking gigantic. I wear a 7 3/4 hat size. Who are you even looking at? This isn't even a head. This is like a fucking solar panel, bro. Come on.
Hey, who's today's guest?
It's actually one of the most interesting, insightful, intelligent, and brilliant comedy pairings in all of Chicago.
Who's that?
That's you and me.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah. So
we're back to the roots.
Back to the roots. Your roots are looking pretty good right now.
I just got them done.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah,
They're touched up.
Thank you.
Normally it's like just growing out, and I'm like, that's not supposed to be an ombre. What are you doing over there?
You're a dick.
I think that's why ombre has become a popular style because it's like
because the women's roots.
Yeah, you just grow out your roots 4 or 5 inches, like you go too long before a hair appointment, and suddenly it's an ombre.
It's so true. Although that's not a true ombre, but yes. What was that?
That was my computer making very loud noises.
Your new computer was like, I have a say in this, and then it pops up and it's like defines what ombre means. Fucking, I don't know. Who owns the internet? Google, Gmail.
They own the internet?
Google. You know what I mean? They're all listening. Alexa. I don't know who that is, but I don't have any makeup on today. Why would you take a picture of me?
I'm just sending it to I was sending it to a certain person I know that just asked what I was doing.
Oh. Well, certain person, I'm sorry you had to see me that way.
She'll hear this way after the fact.
Okay.
Well, she or he.
Okay.
This unnamed person.
We all know it's not a he. All right. What's shaking today?
Okay.
Let's start me off.
All right. Before we jump into the top of the episode, there's a little couple things that are really stuck in my craw. Is that a thing? Do people say that? Okay. Yeah. It's really getting to me.
Old people.
Yeah. Oh, shit. They call me Methuselah out on these streets. All right. So we talked about social media sniping. We've talked about various online behaviors. Can I just tell you, I was caught up by something that
physical attraction?
No, caught up in physical attraction. Yeah.
That's exactly what I heard in my brain when you said that.
I'm sure. No, so like something that if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that this would be an easy way to kind of get quote unquote caught up. But someone called me out over timelines in my life the last year purely from my Venmo history. I'm
going to need more information.
Sure. So as people of the podcast...
You've called me out for Venmo stuff. You were like, LOL, you lent that person money?
I did.
Yeah, you did. And I was like, wow, creep. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're sending those kind of sums around, you need to definitely fucking put that shit on private.
I thought I did.
You did not.
Mine to him was private. His to me was not private.
We still talking about the Venmo transaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This
was a long time ago, guys.
I love that that's your go-to for me is that you just like make it like a, okay. I hate you. Yeah, so this is the story. As anybody who listens to this podcast knows, for the first like year and a half of this, I was on and off with someone. That person is 90% of my Venmo history. We Venmoed each other constantly. And we were on and off a lot. And when we were off, I was always back on the apps. I definitely went on dates with lots of other people. She's fully aware of that. So this is not new news. One of those people is someone that I'm still friends with. I met her last year, briefly went on a handful of dates with her during a break with that girl earlier this year. And then since a shift in dynamic of my most recent situation, she plays softball with me occasionally. She's like a good friend. And we went out to dinner with like some friends, and she saw, I don't know what caused her to see fit, but she was just like, you can be honest with me. I know you were like bullshitting. Like at this point you were seeing that person. At this point you were seeing that person. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not seeing that person now. And she's like, well, then can you explain to me your Venmo history?
Oh dear. Here's my thing. You know what? You got to go into that. Who gives a fuck? Like this is too much energy. Yeah. People give this stuff too much energy. And maybe I'm the wrong target audience for that. But like, honestly, even when you said to me that you saw that one transaction, I was like, why? I don't ever look at other people's. I literally get on the app, pay who I have to pay, and then I get off.
I didn't look at yours. It was either because
It was probably like in your feed.
It either
or whatever,
popped up in my feed, or I remember one night we went out and got like plastered, and the night was super expensive, and I paid for it all, and you Venmoed me the next day.
Oh, maybe
so
that's
might have been that too.
I just I don't look at that stuff, and maybe I'm not the norm because I've heard of other people saying catching people cheating on Venmo and stuff like that. I've heard those stories, but I don't know. Too much time, too much effort spent. Spend it somewhere else.
I did use Venmo once to connect the dots on a social media sniping mission, but I let that resource remain unnamed. I just put the pieces together and then acted on my knowledge, and I was not like, hey, 17 steps down the investigative trail, I saw one thing on your Venmo that got me there.
Yeah, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then you're crazy showing. You just can't.
No, you gotta, be crazy. Don't let me tell you how to live your life.
No, I'm saying don't be crazy. That takes up too much. Spend that mental energy somewhere else.
Like self-care.
Yes,
go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Read a book.
Yeah.
Even.
If someone has 500.
Do something nice. Volunteer at a shelter.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, use the energy somewhere else that's important and not
it's so weird
going down the crazy rabbit hole.
It's so weird they said volunteer as a shelter as I sit here looking at you and you resemble the homeless.
That is hurtful.
I was just kidding.
And it was actually, I feel like that can lead into what I was going to say. Can I Sagoo?
Sure. Sagoo all day, girl.
So my
dummy.
So I was gonna say that you look at me and I've literally when TJ used to first come over and record, I did my hair, I did my makeup, I'd put on real clothes. Now, as we all know, I've gotten down to pajamas, and that's all he gets. He's lucky if I put on real pants these days. Forget makeup and
She's
hair.
totally nude right now.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here naked doing this.
Big lefty's waving at me right now. That's my nickname for her much larger left breast.
Actually, it is larger.
I think every woman's left breast is larger. That's a phenomenon I've noticed.
But not that much larger.
I would say over an exhaustive amount of very scientific research.
I'm sure an exhaustive amount.
I have noticed that most women have a fairly substantially larger left breast.
So anyway, my mother... Okay, loves to, I feel like maybe we've talked about this. Can your giant brain, have we talked about my mom shopping on sleeping meds?
No.
Oh, okay. So my mom loves to take Ambien or whatever to sleep. And when she does, she sends me presents. It actually hasn't happened in a really long time. With my old roommate, we used to play this guessing game when packages would come. They would just show up at the house. I feel like I did tell this story. And I'd shake them and we'd try to guess what they are before we'd open them. And they'd be so random. That's how I got that Kate Middleton commemorative.
The mug.
Yeah, the mugs of the wedding. Because I was like, what the fuck? And why would she even buy this for me? Anyway, today I get a package. And I open it up and it says QVC. So I know exactly who that came from, my mother. And I open it up and it is a package of leggings that are purple velour and they're fleece lined. And I was like, who the fuck is wearing these? I'm not wearing these.
Hookers on the west side?
Not even. I don't even know who would wear these. And I was like, I'm not wearing this. I'm not doing this. And I just thought to myself, could you imagine if I opened the door and I was wearing those velvet, purple, Prince-like leggings when you came over? You'd be like, oh my God, have you lost the will to live? You'd be like, this is the lowest of low for you.
Well, as we've discussed.
They're also really hot. They look really hot.
Temperature
sweaty
physically
hot.
warm?
Yeah.
Okay. Not I'm here to
Not
fuck.
Sexy. Fuck no. So I was like, I feel like one day he's just gonna look at me and be like, you've given up on life if I were to put these on. But I'm not gonna lie, I may wear them around the house when it gets really, really cold in here, because sometimes it does. But what are you gonna do?
Nothing.
But this is what she does. It's those things that she sends me. I'm like, why the fuck did she send this to me? And then one day I find myself being like, it's so cold and all my things are in the washing machine. And then I put them on and I'm like, oh, I get it. It takes a moment. Anyway.
All right. I got a couple more. Here we go. This is crazy. So 2 episodes ago, I believe. I think it was 2 episodes, wasn't it?
Maybe.
whatever. We talked about a new listener, someone that I had like seen on Bumble and then Instagram, and she follows us. We follow her, whatever. AR was the name we gave her. So what I did not tell you is, I don't know if it had happened by the time we had aired that episode, but I was at Bandit in West Loop, and I was leaving Bandit, and as I was leaving Bandit, this group was being seated, and I was like 100% sure that it was Miss AR. Within an hour, she posted on her Instagram stories, she's at Bandit. So I'm just texting her. I'm like, oh, funny, haha, we're at the same place. Wednesday this past week, I go out with my new bestie, Jasmine. We go to Tuco and Blondie to grab some margs. And
they're so long.
Yeah. And while I'm there, I walk to the bathroom and like I walk past this table of 3 women, like a younger blonde woman and 2 older dark-haired women. And right away, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like that looks exactly like AR. Holy fuck. So I go to the table and I like tell Jasmine, I'm like, hey, remember that story I told in the podcast? I'm pretty sure that girl's over there right now. She's like, shut up. Shoot her a message on Instagram. I'm like, hey, you're at Tuco? No response. But like 5 hours later, yeah, I was at Tuco. Are you serious? Then, just like a couple days ago, met Flagship. She puts up an Instagram story. She's at Flagship. So within like a 17-day span, a woman who lives in Wicker Park and myself who lives in Plainfield with no communication, no planning. It's not like we've been talking, just through random fucking chance, ended up at the same location in the city on the same night 3 different times.
Crazy.
It is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Although, the places that you went are pretty popular places.
You shut your fucking mouth.
I'm just saying.
The Chicago metro area is like
Go
20
to
million
Denny's
people.
and see how many people you see. You know what I mean? Or like the IHOP.
You know what I mean? Why'd you turn into like Ernest Goes to Camp?
I don't know.
You know
I
what
just
I mean?
feel because it's Denny's.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So
I don't know.
The moral of that story is if we are connected on social media, there's at least some chance I'm going to run into you 3 times randomly across Chicago.
You are connected to everyone. Here's the thing. Not only are you connected to everyone, but you have really good recognition of people. I sometimes wonder how many people I've seen out, but like
you just don't realize it. Because you're oblivious.
Because I'm completely oblivious. Please don't murder me, but I would be a great victim because like I have no idea about anything that's going on around me.
All right, and before we jump into the episode topic, I just want to do a quick shout out to our lovely fans and wonderful listeners. As I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, at least I think I did. I don't remember if that's the part that's getting edited out. Friend of the pod, friend of mine, Jasmine, picked up some stuff. So thank you so much for doing that. And I know, Jenna, you have a little update also.
Yeah. So, we're a local podcast. We like to support local vendors. And we have decided that we're not going to use Teespring anymore. We're going to be using Greetings by Jenny. She's local. She came recommended by the Be Positive guys. They love her. And I actually loved her when I ordered some of their merch. It came super fast, which was one of the biggest complaints we had. I mean, I heard it from everyone. And then apparently the quality wasn't consistent across the board. So because of that, bye-bye Teespring, and welcome Greetings by Jenny.
Bye-bye.
We're really excited about it. We're going to have some new stuff coming out. I just got a phone with her right before we recorded, and so we talked a little bit about like some winter merch, like beanies and stuff like that, which could be really cute, and possibly switching up like some of the logos, keeping the logo that you're used to, and then maybe like adding to it and doing some fun stuff. And anyway, it's going to get crazy. I think we're going to play around. TJ and I have talked about it, but we'll play around with like some funny like sound bites that we've said before, maybe like like across the back or something, like funny ones and things that maybe you'll know since your brain holds all this information, but things that we say all the time.
There's one that matters above all else.
What?
I'm here to fuck.
Exactly. Or like, what do we always murder?
Murder.
Right?
Fair.
Like,
we both say fair.
Fair. Yep.
A newer listener actually reached out to me, and her first episode she listened to, she texted me, it was like, hey, you guys both say sure a lot.
Sure. That should go across the back. Sure. Yeah. So anyway, we should pick out some funny things. Anyway, just get excited because I think it's going to be great. And I don't know, you can help a small local business like Jenny's, and then, well, us obviously too, by buying the merch. So stay tuned for more there. Okay. So can we jump in?
Do it.
All right. So in case you guys have effectively avoided all social media, because every time I sign onto my fucking Instagram, it's like, did you vote? right? Do you get those too?
You can turn it off.
Oh, I can? Oh my God. I'm like, yes, already, for Christ's sake.
Of
Yes.
course you didn't know that, you
I
fucking
don't know anything
boomer.
about, I don't know anything. I am not a boomer, but
You
I'm
might as
also
well
not
be.
like technologically savvy.
You
Anyway.
can't even, you were like
Technologically savvy. Yeah. So if you've avoided all social media, television, radio, other people, billboards, there's apparently an election coming up. Did you know that?
Word?
Surprise.
Word?
I know, right? But in these polarizing and contentious times, it's a fair question to kind of wonder if you could date someone with different political views,
No.
right? Well, so deal breakers used to be things like smoking, religion, or like a difference in life goals. But it seems like now more and more often owning a particular red hat factors into our dating choices. So I guess the question is, are people across the political spectrum undateable now? Or like, can people with different political views make a relationship work? What do you think?
I think it's kind of, it's very fraught territory. Speaking as someone who defines myself as a militant liberal atheist, and was married to someone who was a Christian conservative homeschooled person, I would say that our ideological differences around politics, which were more generally driven by difference in religion, but certainly her politics were her religion, it made it, that was like one of the primary reasons our marriage ended.
It's interesting because I see what happens within my family unit, right? There's this terrible, annoying group text that starts to go off at all hours of the night because apparently my family has weird sleep schedules. And I wake up to like 30 messages from my mom and my sister.
All about Fox News.
My mother, all about Fox News. And my sister and I align politically. So she's like, stop sending me shit that you're not fact checking. Like, I cannot do this anymore with you. And I don't even chime in anymore because it got to a point where I was like, nope, I'm done. Like, I just can't. For my sanity, I can't. But like when you're dating someone, you can't tune them out. You've got to engage, right? So I think, in years past, it was probably more possible, right? Because this election is, woof.
I think American politics, honestly, in the last 5 years, the amount of change that we've seen in all fronts, social acceptance around what were previously pretty taboo things like gay marriage and trans rights and although obviously racism is still a gigantic problem in the United States, seeing like the incremental pushes become more and more like moving forward. And I think now more than ever, it is so polarizing. And my last serious relationship was with someone who was not politically inclined at all. Like, she did not care. And even that to me was like slightly offensive to me, just because it's like, who cares? Your boss, your landlord, your neighbors, all these other people who would like to, all these other people who would like to like impact policy and impact change and create the type of world that they really want to live in. And if you just don't give two shits, but then you're going to complain about your job or complain about the taxes or complain about whatever, it's like, well, then maybe like go vote.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like right now, you're right. You hit the nail on the head there where like all of those topics that you mentioned, along with things like, gun control, which is so big, immigration, women's rights to choose. Those are all really big issues. Those are big issues that are really sort of like pushed to the forefront this year. And so I think perhaps that's why everyone has been so heated and passionate about it and like feels like they have to fight. I don't know. And I don't know if it's my mother that makes me feel this way, but I just sort of feel like everyone is so divided right now. Like, I don't know anyone. I haven't talked to anyone who's like, I could go either way. Like, I don't hear that. Well, it's like very divisive.
Yeah, it is definitely divisive. And the thing right now with these debates, when you're this close to an election, it's usually about like tapping into the undecided voters. But the question is right now, with the world as polarized as it is, who is really undecided? Not many.
No one.
Yeah, it's like you are either like, I mean, your levels of attraction or attachment to these candidates might be within a certain stratus or not, but you are either pro Biden or pro Trump. There's not like, I don't think there are people that are like, I just don't know. These guys haven't sold me one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember Ken Bone last time around?
No, but that's a great name.
Ken Bone. He was the guy. Oh yeah. He was the famous undecided voter from the Clinton. Trump. And he was like a balding guy with a mustache, and he had a red sweater on with a white collar on.
Yep.
And he was like he had a minute after that.
Yeah, because he was in a lot of memes, right?
Yeah, he just came out a couple weeks ago to say this time he's voting for Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think, look, I have had, and we've talked about this in the show, like, my favorite humans, DJ and Joe, who were on one of our earlier episodes, are amazing. And, but DJ is very, conservative. He would say no. But all of his politics line up as if he is. And we can have...
The only policies that he is not conservative about are his policies around penises.
No, that's still pretty conservative.
Really?
Yeah. He has a lot of issues, I think. And honestly, a lot of this, I think, goes back to a him issue and not necessarily a gay rights issue. It's more of like, it came out later in life and was never really fully comfortable with it and that kind of stuff. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. And it's, I think, more internal issues than it is politically leaning. I don't know. And I don't want to speak out of turn. So I could be wrong. But my point about that is that he and we get into it all the time when I have dinner over there, which is like once a week at the least. And so it's kind of like I can have those conversations with him and still love him as a human. But I'm also not sleeping with him, right? That's the difference. So like with friends and even with my mom, where I can ignore her and just be like, oh my God, stop it. It's very, very different. I don't have to come home, climb into a bed with them, see them all the time.
It'd be creepy if you did.
It'd be super creepy and illegal. So I think that makes it so much harder. You know what I mean? Like you can't walk away from it if you're in the house with it all the time.
Yeah. And I think like right now it's not even the people that have gotten interested recently in politics that maybe haven't been, with like Trump being sort of such a populist candidate and people getting more invested than they ever have. It's weird for me because like this is the first time that I've ever seen a politician have like fans. Like think of Obama. He was like popular and he mobilized voting blocks that didn't traditionally vote as much. And yet once he was elected, it's not like you saw people wearing like Barack Obama memorabilia and his slogans and shit.
Yeah.
But Trump has like a fan club and...
Well, it comes from reality TV.
Yeah. Not even that. I just think of like how he appeals to people. And previously I matched with someone on Bumble and I thought it was hysterical. She had, and since I know you had added to the outline some stuff about Bumble, I matched with the one on Bumble. She was very attractive, but she was a police officer. And again, I don't have any like issue inherently with police officers, but I just think like from my personal experience, I probably wouldn't prefer to date one, just making assumptions about how their political beliefs would align. And we talked a little bit on Bumble and we connected on Instagram, and she was always very pleasant, but in her Bumble profile, it said like conservative, but then it also said like if politics is your whole life, or if you care that much that you would like unfriend people or whatever based on their political beliefs, then just swipe right. But then you go to her Instagram and her Instagram bio is hashtag Trump 2020, hashtag MAGA, hashtag. It's like her whole life, her whole personality is just like loving him. And I'm like, how are you on Bumble telling people that? Is that because, anybody who doesn't agree with you is going to be like, holy fuck, this woman's batshit. And not because you're a Trump supporter, but because you're an adherent to a fucking cult. It's like, I don't want to date someone like that. You can be a Trump supporter. You don't got to wear the hat and the pins and the fucking do the whole nine.
Yeah. Is this the same one that Doug knows? Remember you sent me that?
It might be.
The one where I think I remember sending him your text message and being like, do you know this is happening? And he was like, that girl's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is the same one.
Yeah. That's really funny.
Women, if you're listening to this, rest assured that we have many listeners that are men, contrary to what you believe. And if you've matched with me, you've probably also matched with them. So we get the inside scoop.
True, but he doesn't even live here. He needs to stop. This is someone that I used to like hang out with. He needs to stop dating women in Chicago, stick to Michigan.
Travel swiping.
Yep. I don't like it. Well, okay. So you brought up Bumble. And I think that obviously now, obviously, we're seeing a rise in people adding their political party to their dating profiles, as well as if they're a voter. Have you seen that recently? That's new. And honestly, it's not uncommon to see people who are like, who write it, like this girl, like this woman that you're talking about, who write it in their profile, like it's that important to you, like swipe left if you voted right or whatever, right? Like I've seen that. And honestly, like I don't know why, but every time I see that, I'm always like, all right, relax. Everyone relax. I swipe left. What's the way you don't like people?
Left.
Yeah, I'll swipe left on somebody who says that, even if I align politically with them, because I'm like, everyone needs to take it down a notch. But the reality is like, they're probably right.
I mean, I want people to be forward about it. Like, let me know where you stand, but just don't be a fan either way.
Yeah.
Like, if you're liberal, be liberal. If you're conservative, be conservative. But I don't need to see you wearing like fucking memorabilia. And I'm telling you right now, like, as someone who just said in this episode and many other episodes that I am liberal, I'm certainly going to vote for Joe Biden. If I went on a date with a girl and she was wearing like head to toe Biden-Harris shit, I'd be like, oh, this woman's insane.
Right.
Like, I don't want that on either side.
Right.
But the weird thing, you don't see it. Democrats don't do that shit. Maybe they got a t-shirt. Maybe they got a single hat. They're not head to toe every fucking day in like the regalia of the, ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had such
true.
strong feelings about this.
I did.
You realized I had such strong feelings about it?
Yes.
Ooh, hot damn.
Well, I think the thing is, here's the thing. Here's what it really boils down to, right? Is that when you pick a candidate, you pick what they stand for, right? So like, if I believe in the right to choose what I would like to do with my body, right? And I am with someone who doesn't support that, then fundamentally that's an issue in my relationship, because what happens if I get pregnant and I say, I don't want this baby and he wants the baby? And
you come to me and I got a shop vac and a hanger and we take care of it right away.
Push me right down those stairs.
I'm going to jump kick your ass out.
Okay, well, fair. Whatever works, I say. Whatever works. Or because I have insurance and all, but whatever. But I think really that's what it comes down to, is that these issues that are being voted on everyone is so passionate about, because it's reached like a fever pitch, that like it comes down to like core values. And you can't date someone who doesn't have the similar values, because you get into a situation like that when it comes to abortion, right? And what do? Then I'd be like, well, I'm not having this baby, so you're not having this baby. You don't actually get a say in the matter.
When people ask me if I'm pro-life or pro-choice, I show them my Planned Parenthood frequent buyer shirt.
Did I ever
And the back
you?
of it just says hashtag problem solved.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you that story about my one and only trip to Planned Parenthood? I was very, 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 very hungover from a workouting the night before. And I was walking down the street and I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm definitely going to throw up. And I was like, but there's nowhere to like go inside and get sick. And the woman, so the closest place was a Planned Parenthood. And I've never been into a Planned Parenthood. But when I walked in, I didn't realize that you couldn't just like walk in like a doctor's office. It's like high security in there.
Well, yeah, that's because you get people trying to like shoot and bomb them and shit.
100%. So there's like a woman who's sitting behind like the glass, like a teller. And I was like, she's like, do you have an appointment? I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't. I feel really nauseous. I think I'm going to get sick. Can I use the bathroom? And she was like, oh, I mean, I can't. And I was like, I really don't know what to do. I'm going to either throw up out here or throw up in your bathroom. And she's like, buzzes me through to go to the bathroom, which she probably wasn't allowed to. I could have been a crazy person. I could have had a bomb strapped.
You are a crazy person.
I know. And so white privilege. I think she probably just let me right in there. Just like, you're fine. Right. And I was like, cool. So
cool. Sure.
Yeah. I go in. I do not get sick, but I sit down on the floor and I'm like dying. And then I walk out and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And I was so embarrassed to tell her I was hungover. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just, maybe it was low blood sugar. And this sweet angel lady looks at me.
Give you some crackers.
And she goes, well, I have some McDonald's pancakes back here. Would you like some?
Did you take them?
I fucking took them. And
you
she
are
slid
garbage.
it. She slid it through the like little like teller hole and she gave them to me. And I was like, Bless you. And she was like, I was like, and then I literally like texted my friend. I was like, I've hit rock bottom. I'm eating Planned Parenthood. I know, I think it's storming. I was like, I've hit rock bottom. I'm eating Planned Parenthood pancakes right now. She's like, what? I'm like, I'll tell you later.
This story, that's definitely a pre-COVID story. You can't eat
1,000%.
You can't eat strangers' pancakes.
This is like years ago. Yeah.
Wait, that's funny. So I had completely forgotten about this and I've never told you. So this is like new news. One of the last times that I had like a little bit of an extended run on Bumble, I matched with someone early in the day. I'd matched her a couple times before and she's real cute. And I like mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, we've matched several times. And then a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, like, why didn't we talk? Women almost always are just like, what did you do that ended this? Like, why did you ghost me? Why didn't you say whatever? It's always like, and I was like, no, I don't know. I'm like, I'm just bad about it sometimes. I think it just expired and happened a couple times. And so we started talking and I was actually doing a photo shoot that day. So I was out in West Loop and I get like back to my car in between like shoot locations and I notice on her profile it says conservative Christian. And again, I was married to a conservative Christian. I have friends that are conservative Christians. I have family that are, and like I don't inherently like dislike them or feel like they're bad people. We just like believe different things. And therefore my experience is that like I can't really date them. Not that I haven't tried or that I like, again, I don't think they're bad. I just think it's an inherent incompatibility. So I said to this girl, I'm like, oh man, I just realized you're Christian conservative. And then like I put my phone in my pocket and I like did like another 30-minute shoot. And when I got back to my car, I had like 10 messages on Bumble, basically her raging out up to the point of your people were supposed to be the tolerant ones. That's a fucking joke. And then she unmatched me.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was going to just be like, hey, I was married to a Christian conservative and it was traumatic and ruined my life for like a couple of years. And I just don't want to replay that shit.
Well, I mean, my ex-husband was very conservative. We were very different in our views, and it was a problem. And it would bring up a rage in me that not a lot of things bring up that kind of anger for me. But the way I saw it was he would make decisions where he would say, don't care about anything except for the fact that I have a business and, this helps benefit me. And I was like, it benefits you. Like, this isn't just about you. You are not one person on this entire planet. You have to think of
the collective.
Right. And I was like, but by the way, what that showed me, it was indicative of who he was as a person, which was inherently selfish, like so selfish. And I think that was a bigger personality thing. And I don't know. I felt like that was a lesson. And maybe I'm wrong. Like, I would love to hear from listeners if you guys are in relationships with people who you guys have opposing political views, kind of how you get around it. But it was really hard for me. And it brought up like this weird anger that like it would literally make my skin crawl when he would say things like that. I'd think to myself, how do we raise our kids? How are we going to raise our children when you and
go to
I
Planned Parenthood and get the pancakes?
Get the pancakes at Planned Parenthood?
Is that like a euphemism for the Plan B pill?
No, I just get that at Walgreens. Just saying.
And why do they call it Plan B when it is absolutely my Plan A?
Well, it shouldn't be. It's not the point of it.
Oh,
Plan A should be a condom. PSA, kids.
A what?
A condom. Yeah, these things that go over your ween and they protect you from the little babies coming out.
Oh, well, but I can like use like a Glad,
it's like a shirt,
like a Glad bag and a rubber band.
Well, you laugh, but I went to school with some kids. You know who you are in middle school. Who the talk of the whole middle school group was these two folks who would have sex and they didn't have condoms and they would use sandwich baggies. I was like, guys, I'm only in middle school, but that doesn't sound safe to me.
Yeah, I actually use a Pringles can.
Please.
It's a very rigid condom.
Yeah. There's like probably a lot of room in there for you, huh? This does not fit tightly.
I pack it with the fillers that come in a shoe.
Oh,
like the paper fillers.
That makes sense. Yeah. That should be the opener.
Fuck you. Who are you?
If I edited this podcast, that would be the opener. And because you do, we know it's not going to be.
Okay, this is the first episode ever you can edit. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God, no.
Jenna,
there won't be any. You might as well we'll just go live. It's fine. They're like, where's the music? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. So I think really like the net of this is like, there are healthy ways, I'm sure, to have this to have this kind of relationship. Probably deals with communication, like we say, every single time, and being able to talk through your differences and being not like being understanding and empathetic of like other people's views. Which great if you were that person. Awesome. And I tend to be that person in friendships, but not necessarily in relationships. But I think like you have to really know what's okay to accept and really just talk through it to see other people's viewpoints. So like, being fiscally conservative versus environmentally concerned, you can probably get through that, right? Like that's an easy thing to maybe get through.
Fracking's a deal breaker for me.
Well, honestly, it would be nice to date someone who's fiscally conservative because I am clearly not any of those things. But also kind of like know when to walk away if the differences are just so insurmountable.
Yeah, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
That's what I'm saying. Who's saying that?
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, he knew.
He did know.
He got it. He saw us.
We named an episode that once before.
Oh, we did?
It was the episode with
Look at me go.
Wes Friedman.
Oh, hi, Wes. I don't even know if he listens
We
anymore.
call him the Magic Man because
It's the Magic Man.
All right. So with that said, I think just my kind of final words on it. In the framework of being on the apps, if someone's not aligned with you and that's a deal breaker for you, hey, by all means, let that be a deal breaker for you. There's plenty of people out there, plenty of options, and if you feel like you're at a point in your life where you don't want to waste time with people that you think are going to be incompatible and that's going to be something for you, then don't do that. But if you organically meet someone and they're great and it turns out that their beliefs don't align with you, then what Jenna just talked about, like, talking through things and getting to know each other's viewpoints and trying to see things from the other side. I mean, within reason, if the people that you love suddenly believe something abhorrent, no one's telling you to accept that. Just care about what you care about. Try to be surround people who you agree with and create a bubble where you don't have to deal with anybody you hate. No, I'm just kidding. That last part I didn't mean at all. But first and foremost, more than anything else, you know what you got to do, Jenna?
Yes.
What should you do?
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. Rock them polls, baby girl.
Yeah, I did mine. They sent it to me in the mail, and then I just dropped it off.
Can I just tell you, you need to make sure if you're doing the mail-in vote that your signature on your voter registration matches the signature on your driver's license. Otherwise, they can actually, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like throw it out?
Invalidate your ballot. And someone that I know, actually just someone recommended was like, hey, you should double check your registration to make sure it's on the right name because her name has legally changed and her active voter registration was not with the right name. So it did not have the right signature and her vote would have 100% gotten thrown out, not counted.
Oh my God. That's such a good pro tip, guys. I had no idea.
But now it's too late. So I believe it was last night, 2 nights ago at midnight was the filing deadline to address any voter registration issues.
Oh, no.
And she did it at like 8 p.m. when the deadline was 11:59. Not even knowing, just a random chance she happened to do it that day. So she got to vote.
Wow. See, there's so many
voter suppression and make it hard for everybody.
Bullshit, man. So, I don't know. Get out there, vote. If you don't feel comfortable standing in line, it might be a little too late to do the mail-in stuff now.
Sure.
Get it in the mail. It took a while for me to get mine. But once I got it, I just dropped it off. There's a million places that give you a whole list. Yeah, it's like a whole front and half a back or something of like places to drop it off. So there's definitely a place near you.
And I know most of our listeners are women and probably fairly liberal leaning. Yeah. Ladies, vote with your vaginas. Keep these men on the straight and narrow.
Vote with your vaginas.
Like, don't let me tell you what to do. I'm just a dumb white guy, but like, I'm on your side, and I want you guys to have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want, short of murder.
Murder.
If you want to go to Planned Parenthood and have somebody else's pancakes or whatever else one would do at Planned Parenthood, you go do that. That is your right to choose.
That's what I'm saying.
So get out and vote. Do that shit.
Yep.
All right, guys, if you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree. That includes links to our Facebook group, website, merch store, and more. And a quick thank you to everyone who makes the show happen. Of course, you, our listeners, for downloading. Jenna, because I love you. You are the sausage to my pepperoni, baby.
Thanks.
And me.
Sausage fingers to your pepperoni.
You're the sausage fingers to my pepperoni dick. Oh, that was horrible.
Ooh.
That's spicy. Until next time, share us in your IG stories and find other ways to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. And of course, good luck out there.
Bye. Guys.